Kyopo gag. I moved back to my childhood home after my time expired in Arizona. It had been a couple years since I physically saw my parents, which to me consists of two people, mom and grandma. I was nervous. Here in Arizona, I was able to live alone in my own space where I had complete privacy and domestic autonomy. Now, I'm going to live with my parents again. This makes one household of three single ladies, all strong willed and very stubborn. One. Yeah. My mom is sitting in her usual chair next to grandma, partaking in their daily ritual of binge watching Korean television. It's an all day event. Yeti, do you remember Kevin? No. What do you mean? You went to his high school graduation, went over his house, and met his grandmother? No. What are you? Are you Alzheimer's patient? I take a sip of water. I don't think so. Well, his father is looking for you, she continues. He wants you to marry Kevin. Nah, no thank you. Yeti, he is building. Building. Nah. Yeti, listen to me. You need someone with money, and we'll just do whatever you say. You can do your own thing, ask him for money, and do your art. It's perfect. You guys are a perfect match. Yeti, marry him. His father's asking for you. You don't remember him? No. You have Alzheimer's. I don't like Kevin. Grandma joins in the conversation. He's weak in the head, she adds. Who? Beep, beep, beep. Air fryer, chicken. I hear a thud and turn around. She was on the ground, her expression revealing her dazed state, while my grandma frantically asks if she's okay. Kinchana? Kinchana? My mom looks up, tears in her eyes and blood all over her teeth and lip. Questions rush to my head. Is she okay? Did she lose a tooth? Did she hit her head? I take her to the restroom to wash off, which revealed a deep gash on her upper lip. The bleeding would not stop. I'm fine, Yeti. I'm skeptical. She doesn't want to go to the hospital. She claims that the wait is going to be too long, it'll heal by itself anyway, and to go to the hospital for a small cut like this is laughable. Let's eat dinner first, Yeti, then maybe we go. The lip is still bleeding after her dinner. Okay, no option, we're going. No, she says, it's gonna be okay. Again, no option, we're going. We rush out to the ER. We've always been terrible at going to the hospital. The fear of medical costs, long waits, and the stubborn attitude of, we can tough it out, it's minor anyway, always prevented us from going. We're in the patient room waiting for the doctor. A man comes into the room with the bill. The copay is $240. My mom pays him in cash, and he leaves. Yeti, this bill hurts more than my lip. She looks at me while we wait for the doctor. They're not going to look at me and say I came here for nothing, are they? Her lip is bleeding as she says this. No, Mom. No. The doctor finally comes in. Clean cut, only a couple stitches, and an x-ray for the swollen head. He looks down. I like your socks. My mom was rocking loud pattern Christmas socks with glitter pine trees and dancing Santas. I was in a hurry. Other than her occasional concern of, will this scar? Everything is going to be okay. No serious head injury. The scariest part of this is all the thoughts that occur after. The mortality of parents are certain and inevitable, but something I can never truly prepare for. That program played in my head the rest of the night. In my upbringing, there were no strong male figures in my household. My mother's a breadwinner, raised and cared for me and my grandparents. She sacrificed her own time and life to give us the lives we lead. So this busted business is nothing in comparison. Even though we still have our disagreements, she's trying her best. I start thinking about how restricted my upbringing was, how I couldn't leave the house past dark and go on sleepovers. But my mother was scared. She raised me in a country with an unfamiliar language and customs that were unknown to her. Yet she did it. I'm alive and well thanks to this Christmas socked lady. Her smile is beautiful, even with a bloody lip. 3. I have been drawing my grandma, who is strong willed and perhaps the most stubborn. She was born in Japan and faced discrimination as a Korean during the Japanese occupation. She possesses a Japanese tongue, Japanese palate, and embodies Japanese culture, but she was seen as a Korean, a subhuman to the Japanese. She didn't know Korean until grade school when she moved back to her native country. Her Korean grammar was still off, according to my mother, but my rusty Korean can detect the awkward phrasings. We all have the same cheekbone. I didn't realize that until I started my studies. I draw to preserve her, make her live longer than her physical time here. My drawings, too, will leave this world, but will give me more time with my grandmother than her lifespan will allow me. 4. Whenever I piss off my mom, she always calls me Green Frog, based on an old Korean fable. The fable goes as such. There's a green frog that lived with her widowed mother at the stream. The green frog always did the opposite of what her mother told her to do. If she says to go east, the green frog would go west. If the mother tells her to jump left, she would jump right. When she says to come home early, the frog comes home late. No matter what she said, the green frog would not listen. The mother is so embarrassed by her child's behavior. Why does my child act this way? Why can't she be like the other frogs who listen to their mothers? No matter how hard she disciplines and scolds her, the green frog continues to disobey and do exactly the opposite of what her mother tells her to do. The green frog will not change her ways. Time passes. The mother is becoming very sick and feels her death closely approaching. She wishes to be buried in the mountain and calls for her child. Knowing the green frog's behavior, she chooses her words very wisely. I won't be living for much longer. I have one last request. Promise to bury me at the bank of the stream when I die. With tears in the green frog's eyes, she nods. A week later, the mother dies, leaving the green frog feeling devastated. She mourns and wishes her mother would come back. She looks back on how she never listened to her mother's requests, and feelings of guilt start to ache the green frog's heart. She finally listens to the last request and buries her body on the bank of the stream, even knowing how unwise it is to do so. The rain came shortly after, and the abundance of water surfaced the mother's body from her grave. Upon seeing her dead mother's body flow down the stream, the green frog cries and cries, "Mother, mother." And that is why frogs, to this day, cry in the rain. After months of yelling and fighting, I realized it wasn't about us agreeing or fully understanding each other. In fact, we may never fully understand each other. We're together in one household. The table gets set. Jokes are made about our physical and mental shortcomings, and we actually have more moments of getting along. They're flawed, I'm flawed, but we'll give it our best shot to enjoy the next temporary moments we have left together. Ammas and harmonies don't live forever. I won't live forever, and eventually we'll be gone and forgotten. But our memories that we share will stick with us till then. So till then, hug them.